Hello everybody, welcome back to another tutorial. I know that the other one was a little bit messed up. So this is the most requested tutorial requested by everyone that I should go ahead and make up this pattern. So first of all, I'm going to go ahead and start by drawing a straight line. I'm going to take you as the most details that ever. I will start by this is going to be one of the details tutorial you'll ever find on the online lesson. So I'll start by drawing a straight line, which is going to be the guideline. Now, from that straight line, the next thing I'm going to do is to go ahead and we mark from the waist to the hip depth. Hip depth is normally between 8 and 9 inches, depending on how tall you are. And you're also going to go ahead and minus your 1.5 inch for your waistband. If you're using a waistband of 1 inch or 1.5 or 2 inch, make sure you minus your 1.5 inch or 2 inch. So my measurement is going to start from this 1.5 inch downward like this. I'm going to place up my tape just like you can see me doing right there. My 1.5 inch, I will mark from the waist to the hip depth. Mine is 8 inch. Like I said, it can be between 8 and 9 inch depending on how tall you are. I'm going to go ahead now. I've marked from the waist to the hip depth line. I'm going to go ahead now and mark from the waist to the crotch depth line. How do you get your crotch depth line? Is by dividing your round hip by 4. So my round hip is 38 divided by 4 is going to give me 9.5. I'll go ahead add 1.5 inch to it, making it 10.5 inch. I'm going to move now to my knee line. Whatever your knee line is, you go ahead and mark that up. Mine is 19 inch. I'm going to, after the knee line, as you can see, my tape is still at the same place. Okay, I'm going to move now to the length of my pant, which I'm going to be working with 36 inch right there. I've marked those points right there. I'll be connecting it up with straight line like this. I'll connect a straight line right here. Oh, straight, Anita. Right there. Connect it up. I'm gonna connect the knee line, which is this one. I'm gonna connect the crotch depth line. There's still 1 point lacking, so I'm gonna show you that. I'm gonna connect the hip depth line, which is this one right here. All right. I'm also going to come here and do the same thing here. Like I said, this tutorial is going to be one of the easiest and the understandable tutorial you ever find online. So I have the waistline here, I have the hip depth line here, I have waistline, okay? I have the crotch depth line here, I have the knee line here, and I have the length of the pants. Okay, so once we are done layering them up, the next thing I'm going to do is to take my round hip divided by 4. So my round hip I am working with is 38 divided by 4 is going to give me 9.5. I'll add 1 inch to it. Okay, so 1 inch, that 1 inch is going to sell for, so it's 38. You can add 1 inch, you can add 1.5 inch, but I'm going to add 1 inch to it. Okay, you can add 1 inch, 1.5, or even 2 inch. I'm adding 1 inch to that. So my round hip is 38 divided by 4 is going to give me 9.5. I'll add 1 inch, I'll be left with 10.5. That 10.5, I'm going to bring it up here at the waistline as well. Mark that point up. Now that I am done marking that point up, I'm going to draw a straight line all the way to meet from the waist all the way to the crotch depth line. Now that I am done connecting that part, that line, I'm going to come here like this. I will put 1/4 of the hip. I'm not putting 1/4 of the hip, sorry. You are going to take 1/4 of the hip, divide it into 4, or you can take round hip, divide it by 20. All right, so my round hip is 34. Divide it into 4. I'm going to have 9.5. This is my 9.5. This 9.5, I'm going to divide it again into 4, like this. I'm going to place my tape like this, fold it into 2. Automatically, I've divided into 2. I will go ahead now and fold it again like this into 2. Automatically, I have divided this into 4. I'm just from dividing it into 4. So whatever I have, I'm going to come here like this. I will place it up from this line that I draw straight all the way to here. I'm going to mark that point up, which is right there. At this point, I don't want it to be too deep. So I'm going to go ahead now and connect from this point here. I'm going to mark 1.5 inch. Avoid it from being too deep. Okay, so we have that point right there. The next thing I'm going to do is to come here like this. I'm going to go in by 1/2 inch. 1/2 inch. I will go down by 1/2 inch. Remember, I went in by 1/2 inch, went down by 1/2 inch. You can do 1 inch, it's up to you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to connect this part up to middle of this line here. I don't want to make it too deep. Remember, don't make it too deep. You want to avoid it from making it too deep. So we're just going to go ahead now and bring this point, making sure that we don't make it too deep. I beg, don't make it too deep. I'm just for repeating myself again. Don't make it too deep, oh? So we're going to just bring this point up to mid of that 1/2 inch that we went down, which is this one. Now, from that 1/2 inch, this is looking a little bit, I don't like the way it's looking like this. So I'm going to blend it up. Okay, that's good. Now that I'm done doing so, the next thing I'm going to do is to go ahead now. I'm going to put 1/4 of my round waist. So my round waist is 28 divided by 4 is going to give me 7 inch plus 1 inch for my darts. I will end up with 8 inch. That 8 inch, I'm going to connect it up to mid of this hip depth line like this. Okay, like this from here all the way to this point. And see what I've just done right there. Okay, now that I'm done doing so, the next thing, let me go ahead now, connect this point up to mid of this line right there. Okay, like this. Follow up what I'm doing here. If you don't understand what I'm saying, just follow up what I am doing. Thank you. All right, but believe me, you understand what I'm saying. All right, so we've connected this point right there. The next thing we're going to do is to measure up whatever I have from this point all the way to the side, which is almost 13. It's 12.075. 12.075 divided into 2, 12.075, which is not up to, it's almost 13 inch, but not 13 inch. Divide it into 2. I'm going to fold up my tape like this. Fold it over like that. You can see that point. I folded that line. So I'm going to place it up like this. Mark it all the way to 12.075. 12.075. Which is 12.075, which is right there. Take your time, please. I'm taking my time. It's a friendly beginner tutorial. 12.075. I want to make sure that I fold it to the end. It's almost right there. Yeah, 12.075, which is this line, this point right there. Okay, now that we are done marking that point, we are going to follow that point, take that point all the way straight downwards. You can see, I'm just going to place it up. If you have a long ruler, this is going to help you a lot. So I'm just going to place it up like this, bring it to the knee line all the way straight. So we need to get that point, that line all the way straight to the length of our pants that I'm working on. taking my time and going through it step by step. Now that we are done doing so, the next thing we need to do is to start putting up our measurement. Before we go ahead to start putting up our measurement, there's usually one line that come from the hip depth downward. That line is always a lap line. How do you go ahead and mark that lap line? Is by measuring from here 3 inch downward or 2.5 inch. 3 inch is good to go. 3 inch downward from your brush depth line, which is this line. I'm going to go ahead now and connect it up with a straight line, just like you can see me doing right here. Let me connect this line up. Now that we are done doing so, I'm going to go ahead now and mark my lap measurement. So my round lap is 23. 23 divided by 2 is going to give me 11.5. 11.5 divided by 2 is going to give me 5.025, right? But let's go and do, yeah, it's 5.0. No, what am I even saying? 5.075. 11.5. This is it. Yeah, 11.5 divided by 2 is going to give me 5.075. Closely to 6 inch, but not 6 inches, okay? So I'm going to come here like this. I'll mark that 5.075 right there. Mark it up on there. Lap line. I'm marking it both sides. Remember, we have automatically divided our lap line into 4. Please don't make that mistake. We've divided into 4. I'm going to come on the nail line, which is 16 inch. 16 divided by 2 is going to give me 16 divided by 2 is going to give me, yeah, the round is 16. 16 divided by 2 is going to give me 8. 8 divided by 2 is going to give me 4 inch. So I'm just going to come here like this. You can see I'm using my tape because I don't want to make mistake. It's 4, right? But I need to be sure. You know, sometimes our head is not working rightly. 4 inch. I'm going to mark that 4 inch here and also 4 inch here. Now that I am done marking that point, follow up what I'm doing right there. So I'm going to come to the length. I will take the round ankle, which is 10 inch. Let's just say 11 inch. Let's make it to be a little bit loose. 11 inch. 11 divided by 2 is going to give me 5.5. 5.5 divided by 2 is going to give me 2.075. Okay? 2.0. See, this is it. Look. 5.5 divided by 2 is going to give me 2.075, closely to 3 inch, but not 3 inch. So I'm going to go ahead and mark that point here, 0.75, closely to the 3 inch, but not 3 inch. I'm repeating myself again. Mark that point. So now that we are done marking all our points, it's time now for us to go ahead and connect this up. Sometimes connecting these points up is not really going to be really easy. So first of all, I'm going to connect this point from here to here like this, all the way to this point. All right, now we're gonna bring this up like this. See what I'm doing here. Okay, so can you see what I've just done? All right, so I'm just gonna go ahead and blend this up a little bit. Blend just by, I want to make it to look more straight. Okay, we have something like that. The next thing we're going to do is just to bring this up like this, connect it all the way straight downward. Now that we are done connecting that part downward, I'm going to come here like this and connect these points up like so. Okay, you can see we have something like this, alright? This, like I said, it's not something difficult. When you think that it's difficult, but it's not really difficult like you think. And then I'm going to come here, I'm going to bring this up here. taking up. That's exactly what I'm going to get. Can see? You can see what I have right there. Okay, so I practically am done with the front. The front is quite the front, we're going to be using it up to make the back. So let me quickly go ahead and cut this up. We're going to use this to draft up the back. But before we go ahead and cut this up, let's not forget, most important, people requested with the flyer. Okay, so I'm going to come here like this. From the second line, I'm going to mark, normally you can mark 1.5 inch, okay, from this point. Okay, but you can do 2 inch. So I'm going to mark 1.5 inch from this inner line, 1.5 inch right there, 1.5 inch right here, 1.5 inch right here. You want to connect it all the way to the line. Yeah, wow. 1.5 inch. Connect this up like that. And you see, just go ahead. You can round this up, or you connect this point up all the way to this point here. You see, whichever way. You can connect it up, or don't make a mistake. Don't come and tell me that, why is he looking funny like that? Just go ahead and round this up a little bit. So I'm going to come here like this. I'll just bring this up from this point, bring it curvy like that. So can you see that? How it's looking now? This is one line. And don't mistake, we are connecting it up from this point. Alright, let me connect it straight. Now we have that part. Now we're going to move into the pockets. For the pocket is, you're simply going to come here and go in by 2 inch. 2 inch right there. 2 inch, okay? You're going to go in by 2 inch from the side, 2 inch. Then you are going to go ahead now, bring it up to mid of this point. You can either connect it up to mid of this point. You can go ahead and round it up. You can do it up like this. Okay? Don't make it too funny. So I'm just going to go ahead and bring it up. This is mine. This is where the pocket is going to go in like that. You can choose to do it straight, okay? You can choose to do it straight, all right? So we have the front, we have the zipper flyer, we have the where the pocket is going to go. I'm not going to be cutting this around because we're going to be needing it later on. I will show you why we'll be needing it later on. So let me quickly go ahead and cut this up, and then we'll use it to make the back. Please, if you like this tutorial, don't forget to give a thumbs up. Follow for more. Like I said, I'm not going to be cutting this now. We'll be needing it later on when I'm done drafting up the back. So I'm quickly going to go ahead and cut this up like this. Sorry. And take note how I'm cutting. You don't go and make a mistake and start destroying your pattern. Take your time, cut it. Like I said, this is the most details tutorial I'm showing you on how you write and make a pan. Nobody is going to teach you the way I'm teaching you right now. And if you notice, I'm not adding any seams allowance here. Normally you're supposed to add your hemming allowance. I've not added it up. That one will be doing it later on. We'll be doing it when cutting on the fabric, okay? So there's no need. This is our basic block pants. Once you have the basic block pant, you can make any pants of your choice. So I'm going to be cutting it here. Look, go down like this. And let's bring it up here. Alright, and from here. So we have this one right there. Can you see that? Now let me bring another paper. I'm going to use it to add it up. Okay, I have my pins right there, so it's easy for me to work. So another paper. This is another paper, okay? Now, if you check what I'm going to do right here is, I will have to just go ahead, try to fold this inside. But I'm going to pin that up. And if you check the way I'm doing it right there, I'm going to make sure that I leave an allowance here, okay? We should leave an allowance. This pattern is kind of a little bit smaller. Yeah, but anyway, let's just go ahead and do so. We're gonna do this. So, more pin. Pin that up. And make sure that I leave. Okay. I will leave an allowance at the top. Okay. I've pinned that up right now, and you see that. So I've pinned, take another fabric, I've placed it on it, and I pin up my front pattern. So first thing, what we are going to do is to extend our brush extension for the front. So normally it's always whatever you have from the front. So I'm going to go ahead and extend exactly what I have there. This is about 2 inch. I'm going to do 2 inch. It's always make sure I follow this line up like this, straight all the way to here. And then from that point, I'm going to go down by 0.25 quarter inch. Okay, 0.25. Which is this line right there. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come here like this. From this line, I'll measure up whatever from this point. Hey, we did not even add that, okay? That one I forgot to. So I'm going to go ahead and measure up whatever I have from this point to this point, which is 3.5. Divide it into 2. 3.5 divided into 2 like this, okay? I don't have time to be stressing up, even though it's going to give me 1.075. So I'm going to locate the midpoint. You're locating the midpoint of that 3.5. Okay, 3.5. What I'm going to do right now is to measure up whatever I have from this point to this point, which is 2.025. I'm going to extend it up here, 2.025, which is right there. Extend it up with a straight line. What am I doing? It's 2.025 here. 2.025. Extend it up right there. Or you can just go up. For me, normally sometimes I go up by 1.5 inch, 2 inch. So 2.025 is almost the same thing. What I want to do right now is to go ahead now and measure up whatever I have from this point to this point, which is 8 inch, I'm going to come here like this and place that 8 inch in a slanted way like this. But before I go ahead and place that 8 inch, I want to make sure that I mark this line up like this, a straight point like that. So I'm going to measure that 8 inch like this all the way to those dotted line that I've just dot. Okay, now let me go ahead now connect that 8 inch all the way to those dotted line like this. Can you see that point? All right, can you see what I've just done right there, right? Yeah, got it. I don't want to confuse you guys so much. We'll do the that later. I forgot that one, but don't worry, we're going to do that later. So what I am going to do right now is this point right there. You can see this point from here. I'm going to go out by 2 inch from here. 2 inch from this line here. I'm going to go out by 2 inch. I already know that this point is this point. Now what I'm going to do is carefully remove this, fold it over like that, and I'm going to fold it over like this. This part is a little bit tricky, so connect it from that 0 to 5. Remember that we went down by 0 to 5. You don't want to make this too deep. Avoid making this too deep. Okay. Now we're going to bring this up like this to meet up this point that we have just done right here. Can you see what I've just done there? You see what I've just done there, right? I'm bringing it back. I'm bringing it back. Remember, we went down by 0 to 5. Now, this point, we're just going to maintain it up like this. Bring it up to make this point and connect it all the way straight down. Okay? You can use your pan cutter if you have one. Just go ahead and use that up. If not, use this one. Use like this. Okay, the line is going to be the same. Apart from everything, it's going to be the same. Okay, we'll just take our time. Making sure everything is good and neat. And yeah. We're not going to be making what I don't know. You can add half inch. Normally, sometimes the back is always bigger. You can add half inch. At the sides, I'm going to maintain it up same. The line is supposed to be the same. Don't make that mistake. Line is the same here. Okay, now we are going to come here. I will add 1.5 inch. From this point, I'm going to mark 1.5 inch, 1.5 inch, and 1 inch from the hem, 1 inch at the hem. Right, so you can stress me up. Connect this line up like that, and hold it up, and bring it up all the way straight downwards. The line is supposed to be the same. Okay, so now that we are done with that part, we have the back. We're going to go ahead and put our dart that I forgot. Sorry, I forgot that part. Okay, I'm going to go down 4.5 inch, sorry, and mark my half inch both sides. Remember, I added 1 inch for my dart, so I'm going to mark half inch and half inch. Connect it up like this. Like so. And like this. Okay, now that we are done, I'm just going to mark this point up and keep the line, right? And move the front, the knees. Now we're going to do a straight line, the knee line, then the hip depth line, in there. Remember, this we slanted it down, so it's not supposed to be. Oh, yeah. I'm not. So now what I'm going to do right now is to go ahead now and mark up whatever we have here. Measure it up, okay? We measure it up. We measure it up, whatever we have here, which is 3.5. Come here and mark 3.5. Gonna come here and mark that 3.5. 3.5 here. You have to rule that line the way it's following that 3.5, okay? It's not supposed to be straight here. Really that straight. It's not really supposed to be that straight because here it's not straight like the front. So I'm going to go down by 5.5 inch. I'm going to mark half inch both sides here, half inch here, and I'm going to rule a line to meet up that point. And I'm going to do it here. I will cut that up right now. If I cut it up, this is the back. Okay. Times 2. We cut times 2. So cut that up. Right? So post this because I'm sure now we're having enough space, okay? So I'm gonna cut that up. front, you place it up like that, you notice that this is a little bit longer than the front, and you also notice that the darts are not at the same. If you check, the darts are not at the same, because this one is straight and this one is more like slanted. Okay, it's not supposed to be the same. Now that we have this cut off, the next thing we're going to do is to go ahead now and cut out these allowance. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut it up like that. Remember, I said I was not going to cut this off until I was done with the front. Until I was done with the back, sorry. When did I even put those other paper? Okay. So when you are cutting the back, the pocket of the pattern, so this is the allowance that I've cut in here, the pocket. I cut this allowance right here, okay? From here like this. Remember this allowance, take notes. So when we are cutting off the pocket, I'm just gonna do it as one so you should understand like this. When you are cutting pocket, right? This part here normally comes like this. It normally comes from here like this. Like this. Okay, so the pocket is normally going to come like this. This part is going to be folded at the opposite side. But when you are cutting, you're going to when you're cutting this pocket, all right, so this part like this is going to go at the inside. You check. Okay, so normally you have to just go ahead and fold it over like this. Okay, we have folded it up like this. Normally we are supposed to have two pieces. One of it is going to have this cut. So I don't know if I'm really explaining it. Let me know, go ahead, I'll be confusing you. So when you're cutting the pocket, right, this is how it's supposed to be. After which we've cut this part. This allowance, remember, this is still part of our pants. So your pocket is supposed to be like this. This part that we have taken in, this is about 2 inches that we took out of it, right? So this is a 2 inch. You make sure that you replace back that 2 inch of allowance, because this is still part of our pattern. Replace back the 2 inch of allowance. So I'm going to go ahead. This part here is going to be folded at the inside like this. All right. So let me do it. I want to understand. We fold it over like that. We will round this up. The hem, the downward part of it, we need to round it up like this. Just draw a straight line. I'm going to look ahead and whatever way you choose to do your pocket is up to you. You can do it in the form of a slanted. Okay, this pocket is going to go inside. Normally, when you are going inside, it's not just one piece, because if it is one piece, if it is just one piece, by the time, if it is just one piece, this part, by the time you put it, is going to be open. So you need this pocket here, the pocket, to have inner part. So what you're simply going to do is just place it up like this. I'm going to place it up like that and cut it up, dot it up like this. I'm going to dot it up like so. Just dot it up. And this part is going to be cut up. See, this part is going to be cut off. It's going to come like this. You can see. Now you understand what I'm trying to say. This part now is going to be placed back that our 2-inch. Okay, you can see this part goes with this one. Why this one is going to be the one that is going to be inside automatically. Then this part now will come here like this. We'll replace back that 2-inch. So this part is being folded into two. You can see I folded it into two. All right, so you join it up like this, and you have to join this part and close it. That way, when you put your hand inside this one, you stitch them up together. Then you flip it. You put your hand inside, you have something like this. All right. Automatically, we have replaced back that 2-inch that we took from here, that we cut out. Now we are done with the pocket. We're going to go ahead and cut the waistband of it. The waistband of the pant, I'm going to cut a 28 divided by 2 is going to give me 14. I'm going to cut 14 inch, adding 1 inch to it. So 1 inch making it 15. Then I'm going to go ahead and mark 1.5 inch because it's what I minus from my pattern. 1.5 inch. Rule that line. It's not something I have to make this one. Rule that line straight like this, and here like so, and like this. My band, okay. Cuts. Now that I have cut half of my band, here you cut it on fold. On fold. Okay, so you cut this on fold. Automatically, when you cut it on fold, you're going to have the full band of the pants you're working on. So let me move this aside. Place all the pattern for you people to see. So I have my front. When you are done drafting your pattern, normally you're going to have your fronts. We also have our pockets, our front and our pockets we have here. Alright, we have the front and the pockets. Can you see that? The front and the pockets. This is the front and the pocket like this, okay? The front and the pocket inside, you can see. Alright, and I have the back. My places of the length is going to be the same. The differences is just this part here and the band of the pants. So I hope this tutorial was helpful to you. If it was helpful, please don't forget to support your girl. Give me a thumbs up, like, comment and share. I hope to see you some other time. Thank you so much for watching. Bye bye everyone.